Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of the Set Yourself Free Global Series. My name's Karen Uppal, and I'm your host for this series. And it gives me the greatest honor to be here with you guys as we dive in super deep and discuss a variety of ways on how we can ultimately set ourselves free, release all of these obstacles that are in the way, get rid of all the restrictions, be limitless, and live the life that we ultimately deserve. Today, we have a very special guest, Demetria. Hi, Demetria.
Hi.
Hi, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful on this lovely new moon.
Oh, yes, it's been intense. Last 24 hours has been so intense, guys. I've been having coughing fits. It's been really interesting. So if I cough in throughout this video, please forgive me. I'll try and maintain that. But Demetria is the founder of Your Soul's Dream, a financial healer. It's very unique. She's the host of the Soul Freedom series, and she is super committed to helping beings on this planet feel aligned again, aligned with who they are, aligned with their purpose on this earth, and most of all, feel safe and free. So this is right bang on the money based on our topic. So I'm really excited to really dive in deep. Demetria, you and me share something really in common. So I too was actually in the finance world, and I worked in a corporate position for many, many years when I moved to the States 9 years ago, actually the whole time that I've been in the States. And it's so interesting. It's the complete opposite of what I actually should be doing in the world, right? And I know that you also, experienced the corporate lifestyle. I think you were a CPA, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
I like that.
Wow.
Love that.
So interesting. I used to work with CPAs. I used to work for a payroll company. I was on the 401k side. So I worked with so many CPAs, and I'm like, that is night and day. So how did that happen?
I love that you're asking me that because it's been so many years since anybody has brought that up, because that was my secret life all these years, now that I'm doing the energy and the spiritual work. But I remember when I was a CPA, everybody would be like, you're a CPA? I don't really see that.
Right.
I was like, yeah. I realized, I think when I was younger, what attracted me to the accounting was the sense of balance. I always wanted to see how the pieces of the puzzle would fit together. And I wanted answers. And as an accountant, you got answers. Things had to, integrity was huge. So everything had to balance out. And if there was a lapse in integrity, it would always show in the balance sheet. So I love that. I love that part about it, because I could always bring things into it, and I could always see where the weakness was. And then as I had to transition out of that world, because it was so focused. It's very third dimensional, and focused on, purely on the numbers. But as I started to expand and really see the root of our financial health has an energetic, and actually even deeper than that on the soul level, how that translates into financial health. I started to really kind of see okay, the same rules apply in the energy world, in the world of our emotions, as they do with the balance sheet. So for example, assets minus liabilities equals owner's equity, right? And so I realized, okay, appreciation minus lack orientation equals vibrational equity. So it's the same, keeping your, and so it's a way it keeps the linear mind kind of occupied, so it doesn't sabotage you when you can kind of see, okay, there's really simple mathematical equations that we can apply to keep ourselves in integrity.
Wow. Wow. And that is brilliant, because so many people want their intellect satisfied, right?
Yes.
They want their intellect satisfied. So they need it. They need the equation. They need to be able to sum it up, right? So wow, that's incredible. So where was the turning point for you then? Like where did you know, when did you first start having a spiritual or an awakening or a self-awareness or this realization that we are more than just this?
You're asking the best questions. It's like you're taking me down to the depths. I love it. So yeah, you know what? I'll tell you what it happened when everything fell apart. It happened when my entire life, you know, back to that linear progression that we're taught in the West, that if you do A, if you do B, if you go to school, right? What are we taught? You go to school, you get a good job, you get good grades, you make good money. Simple, right? That's the formula. And so that's the formula we have to follow. Well, in this third dimension, when you live only in that dimension without awareness of the larger dimension, at some point you will be faced with those limitations. You will be faced with the limitations of that formula. In other words, A does not always lead to B, which leads to C, if you're not aware of this larger realm of who we are. And, you know, I mean, where do we start, right? The job wasn't working out the way I expected.
Right.
The marriage was falling apart. I bought a home that tanked in value. I mean, and this was all, you know, it was all like happening at a time when I thought my life was actually turning around for the better. You know how when you think like things were getting better, like, oh, finally you figured this out. You know, your ego's like so clever, like, okay, I finally figured this out. My life is now getting better. And then everything, you know, goes down. And that's where the soul comes in. Right?
Yes.
It's the most painful point in our life. That's when our soul comes in and we finally listen.
Wow. You know, I've heard so many stories like this, Demetria, where people have had the rock bottom experience, you know, the boom, crash and burn, so we can rise and grow, right? And I love hearing this so much because it's showing me that everybody's experience is not going to be the same. So, you know, nobody ever needs to continue to carry that fear. For me, it was the complete opposite. For me, at age 33, on that very day, I was not working towards this. I was actually completely happy in my job, making plenty of money, right? I was divorced a few years prior. Things were going great. There was really nothing to really change. I was like, oh, life's great. Oh yeah, I go on several vacations a year. I buy myself wherever I want. I have this job that I really don't care about, but who cares? I make money. And then whoosh, like that's what it was. It was like an explosion from within me energetically. And through that light, and through that energy, and through that realization, then my life changed within 24 hours. Everything changed. But then adjusting to it was the hard part, because then you're like, I can no longer work this job. I can no longer associate with these sorts of people anymore because it is non-serving to them or me. And, you know, it was that. So I absolutely love hearing these experiences, because I think the more variety of experiences that we can share with people, you know, the more awareness it creates around what an awakening or this next phase of realization actually means. It's never.
I love that. I actually love that you shared that. I didn't know, like, so almost, it's almost like we're like that. Yeah. It's like we're kind of having the similar experience, but the way it came to you was completely completely different. And that's,
Yeah.
and that kind of shows how when grace comes, it's indiscriminate.
Yes.
You know, grace is not a linear path. It's
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Powerful. Oh, yes. And so, but I guess when it is time, it is time. It is when it's
yeah,
time.
it's you
There's
really
no stopping it, right? And, I've heard many stories of people, hitting their head against a brick wall again and again and again until they get it. Okay, do you get it now? You hit your head against this brick wall 1,000 times already, doing the same thing. It's not going to work. You've got to switch it up. So, wow, incredible. So then that opened a door for you, and you're like, were you at that point, oh, I can no longer continue living this type of a life? I mean, when did that really hit for you?
Yeah, it was definitely at that moment. And I will say it was a book that I read too.
Mm-hmm.
Eckhart Tolle's, I don't know if you know Eckhart
Yes,
Tolle's
yes,
A New Earth.
yes,
That's very
yes.
famous.
Mm-hmm.
That book actually, because it was, and I avoided reading it because I thought it was going to be another self-help book. Because I had read so many, I had it mastered. I had it down. My
Yeah.
ego was like, I know this. I wasn't going to read it. And then, it just kept showing up. It was one of those things that keeps showing up. It's like that message that keeps, and I remember I was at Barnes and Noble, and there was a table usually filled with books. And there was only one book. And it was that book. I was like, okay, well, let me check this out. But that book actually really did. And this was 11 years ago when it was really popular, and ever since then, there was just a huge shift. Like everything, reality as I knew it completely just turned upside down, and then that's what slowly, very gradually, has led me on this path of now. Really embodying my soul's mission.
Wow.
At the time that I read the book, I was working 2 jobs, 2 small kids, and heavily into the 3D and the financial world. So it's been a slow, gradual shift into like getting to like the root of where abundance really is.
Yes. Wow, that's incredible. And I think that in us just even sharing this, both of us coming from this corporate lifestyle to the complete opposite. And I think knowing for me, I was never fulfilled in my job. I only did it to make money, right? Because that's what we were taught. You grow up, you go to school, you go to university, you do all of this, you get married, you have kids, and then you get a job that pays you the most amount of money.
Yeah.
And that's life, right?
That's how we're conditioned.
Right. But never will we be fulfilled if we are doing the job for the purpose of making money. We will. It's not, and I was never fulfilled because I didn't experience the other side, which was the expansiveness of my soul and who I truly am. And when I did, there is no going back. There's no room to ever go back to that life. And I know that's probably the same for you too, right?
Yeah. It's funny. It's like, it really is not a choice. That's when it also brought me to the point of realizing whether or not what choices do we really have. Really kind of caused me to look at that and realize we only have one choice. There's really truly only one choice, and that's accepting.
Yes.
Accepting the present moment as it is, and tuning into the flow of the divine, or resisting it and being subject to the collective mind. Right.
Wow. Powerful. Thank you so much. Yes. So then my next question is, so you're a financial healer, and it makes great sense, right? You went from being a CPA, coming to all of these realizations. So you have this real strong relationship with understanding what money really is. Can you share with me the link between our emotions and money?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Yes. So I think I feel like it's not often talked about. How emotions are very much, because emotions are, again, the energy current in our body, right? Energy and motion. That's what emotions are. What is money? Money is currency. It's the current by which we can distribute resources to different parts of the planet. So emotions, it's the energy current that your soul, your source, is able to distribute messages to different parts of your body. So they essentially play the same role.
Wow.
and to help you see, and to help people see this very practically, that's the practical part of me, is that if you are not acknowledging your emotions, you know, an emotion is a message. That's all it is. It's a message from spirit letting you know where you're at and what's going on. Very intelligent. If you say it's just an emotion, or, ooh, I shouldn't be feeling anger right now about that. I need to get over it. I need to get over it. Change my, you know, you go into this like, and so then we just keep putting it aside, moving on with our day. So that basically creates debts. It creates energy charges in our field. And energy charges, like charges on a credit card, don't go away. They gather interest until they're paid.
Wow.
So I just want to make sure that's kind of big. So I just want to make sure that's kind of understood.
Yes, wow, that hit home in such a huge way. That explanation, Demetria, is incredible. And it's so true. It's so true. That's what it is. We're gathering it up. We're gathering it up. We're gathering it up. More debt is being accumulated. More debt is being accumulated. And wow. And you know, many of us,
I love you.
many of us don't even have the awareness that we are doing that to ourselves, right?
Well, we're not taught to.
We're not taught.
That's the biggest thing, right? Like we were talking about, you know, you're in school. It's like, you know, the big competition when we're going to school is brains versus brawn, right? You have those are the two most important, like who's the smartest and who's the most athletic, you know, like you can find your place as long as you're one of those things, you're good to go. But is emotional intelligence, was that ever? No. Emotions are something you're not supposed to. No, crying, getting angry. Like, what are we gonna do with these problem kids?
Yeah, stop crying, stop being angry, stop it right now, right? It's just wow.
And knowing that, we have to understand that most of us in the West are carrying a large amount of energetic debt, like emotional debt, because we just haven't been taught, unless we do have a certain amount of emotional intelligence. We certainly couldn't expect our teachers, and most of us, our parents, to even help us with clearing that charge. And so that's what I do. That's essentially what I do, is like we go in, we find out the origin. What's the emotion trying to tell you? We find out the origin, which is usually some kind of a belief, which is what this is about, setting yourself free, and find that belief, clear that belief. And then once we do that, we're actually clearing the debt in the energy field. And then that reflects as a clearing of debts. And then, you know, you get to a place where you actually start saving. You know, you have a reservoir where you have a bank that you can draw from, and actually be the change that you want to see in the world, right? Be love. But you can't really be love and be loving if you're empty or if you're in debt. So
wow, Demetria, you are like the spiritual CPA. You are the spiritual CPA. No, you're spiritual financial advisor, but nothing is not related to money, related to all of our internal, right? That energy, it's the balance of energy. I just think it's so profound the way that you're explaining this, because it really clicks when you're explaining this. It really like it's clicking, you know, with these scenarios that you're choosing to use. So that's amazing. So my next question. So with all of this being said, right, we have what I know is that our knowing, our emotions, everything that is within is what gives us access to absolutely everything. And we have spent so long repressing that, right? That is divine intelligence. That is intelligence so far beyond our human form, so beyond our human brain, which we rely on. We've relied on this, but now we are reverting from relying on this to relying on this, the real power. How do you go from this to this? Yeah.
Well, and I have the perfect, so I actually created a soul dream map. So that this is the free gift that I would love to offer.
Oh, great.
And I think you have the link you
Yes.
said in the
Yes.
video.
And we will link that. Yes.
That is what it is. That's what came to me in meditation. It's been my process. And that's, how do you get that? That's the whole genesis behind that is getting from the head to the heart, which it's the path home. It's the path home. And so I created a kind of a map that you can meditate on, and wherever you are at, it will take you to where you help connect you to where you need.
Yes.
Which is all within you. It's basically connecting you back to yourself.
Yes, it's all in there. And I think what it is because we've been so conditioned to go external, right? It's we've lived this external life. We are nothing. Everything is everything but us. Like it's with all this credit has been given to everything else but ourselves. And now this process in reverting internal is very hard for some people because of how deep the conditioning is. I mean, you and me went through our own processes and we have our own tools. What would you say to those people who are really trying? And we know that the trying kind of takes you away because it's this intense energy of try. And this is not about trying, it's about unwinding and allowing. Can you speak into that a little bit more, and maybe in your experience, what you've experienced with that unfolding and then going from trying to allowing?
Oh, I just, first of all, I just love everything you're saying too. I tell you. Like you're helping me. So, what came to me, a download I just received yesterday that kind of was an aha. So hopefully this is helpful. There's so much out there, right? Trying to help us about control, right? Like gaining control, right? That's the big thing. Gain control of your life, take control of your life. And what came to me was like, we actually, as it was going in deep, the thing is, we don't want to be controlled by other people. We don't want to be controlled by someone else's agenda. That's what sovereignty means. But the other side of that is the truth. If you get to the truth of it, we actually don't want to be in control either. In truth, like on a deep level, we like me as an individual, like a tiny me, a separate me, I don't want to be in control. Like, I mean, if I had to remember to breathe, I would not be alive right now. Oh
my God, that just sounds so overwhelming. Can you imagine? Wow. Yes.
Like if you look at the truth of that, it's like, oh my gosh, wait a minute. It's sovereignty is like, no, it's surrender, it's trust, and it's acceptance. I'm going to say the word God. I know, I'm going to say the word God because I believe it's has a powerful frequency. And what I'm talking about is that the intelligence that created the universe.
Yeah.
The intelligence that created you and me, the intelligence that makes sure that I can breathe and that my heart is beating.
Yes.
And so when I know and I can kind of surrender this tiny little controlling little me that wants to try, like you said, that's just trying so hard. I mean, I talk to so many people that are saying, gosh, I've been doing this work for 15 years. I've been trying to get healed. I've been trying to, get my finances. I've been doing all this healing work. what if you stop trying?
Mm-hmm.
What if you actually let go? And no matter how icky you're feeling, trust me, I know those days, like even this morning, it's like, there are days where it's just icky. Okay. I mean, the energy is like, it's like, somebody please like save me. But if you can just trust that wherever you're at, wherever you are right now is exactly where you need to be. And that if it's time to make a change, or if it's time to take an action, you will know clearly. I mean, think about the times, anytime you've had to make a change in your life. Was there a doubt? Was there a question? And sometimes the change comes easy. Sometimes it comes more challenging if we don't listen to that intuition. So, but trusting that wherever you are, whatever you're feeling, like maybe you're feeling just that despair, even that despair has a purpose. There's a message in it. It's stopping you from doing something, like going down the wrong road.
Yes.
So even that has a purpose.
Yes.
And surrendering deep into that and going into that and allowing it. And always it's like, and then asking for help. Asking source, asking your spirit guides, angels, whoever you talk to, you're asking for help during those difficult times, and trusting and listening. That's the best thing that I could say. But expecting things to be different than they are it's the fastest way to suffer.
I completely agree with you. And yes, in my experience, I was not trying at all. I knew that there was something missing, and I was very curious. But actually, this first deep dive into this new state of awareness for me happened when I was not reading any books, going to any seminars. I was just being with myself, being with myself. I think a part of me knew that it was time. So yeah. And I've seen people who are trying, and it's really hard. And that's actually doing the opposite.
Yes.
Of what our divine intelligence system wishes to be. It's the opposite. So yeah, we're human beings.
Beings first.
Yes. Capitalized. Yes, being first. So wow. This has been profound, Demetria. Thank you so much. And this speaks deeply into when we choose to collaborate, when the force of love comes together, it's amplified. We're not supposed to be alone in this, right? And what would you say to everybody about that? Because there's a lot of people that really feel that they need to be in this alone.
I'm so, again, you're right on the mark. That really has been coming to me really strong too, like that collaboration, right? This is because the new earth is not going to be created through the mindset of scarcity or lack.
Right.
That is the old old paradigm.
Yes.
The new paradigm that we're in right now, it's like what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
We're collaborating.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh, we have a similar mission. How can we make this as powerful as possible for as many people as possible? Yeah. And how can we share, and how can we give? And as you know, you're going to hear some different kinds of messages out there in the business world. And so really just, I would say, like, really kind of pay attention. Like, are you giving? Are you sharing? Or are you like thinking about what is it for me? Mm-hmm. Because I know that that's where I myself have struggled, where it's like, oh, why are things just not working out for me? Mm-hmm. Why are all these other people successful, and why are they not working out for me? And that's when I had to really go in, and it's like, okay, am I giving? Am I sharing? Am I open to collaborating? Am I open to receiving? Okay. Am I open to receiving? You know, it's just important to understand, like we were talking about and what you're doing. This summit is like, I can't even tell you how important your summit is.
Thank
because
you.
yeah, I mean, we develop all these beliefs and protective mechanisms when we were children, you know, especially those of us who grew up in unsafe environments.
Yeah.
We needed to develop these protections to keep us safe. So it's understandable that they're there. It's no one's fault.
Right.
You're not blaming yourself.
Right.
And now it's like, here is a chance to be free of that because you don't need it anymore.
Those times are gone.
You don't need it anymore.
Right. Wow. Yes.
Talking to you, I think I could really just go on and on.
I know. And we're going to do this again, right? And maybe we will if we feel called. And I think you are amazing. In Demetria, you are incredible. And I thank you for allowing yourself to be this in the world, because we need you, right?
Feelings mutual.
Yes, right. And allowing ourselves, like, I feel that I'm setting myself free just doing this show. I found every excuse in the book not to do it, and I was like, oh, that means I've got to do it then, you know. Here we are. Every single excuse. I can't speak on camera. No way. Oh no, you know. But again, this is who I am in the world, and I cannot be small. I cannot play small anymore and hide under the covers and pretend I don't exist, because I do, and I'm needed, just like you're needed. And just like everybody out there listening is needed, you are needed. Yes. Your brilliance is needed. Yes. You are a piece of the jigsaw, a special piece of the jigsaw. And we cannot do it without you. So, you know, this is really good advice. And you know, Demetria is here, I'm sure, with questions. Please go to her website, which we'll link below. And if you have questions for me, my website will also be linked, karenuppal.com. And Demetria, such a great honor, my sweet sister. Thank you so much for being here. Yes. And I look forward to connecting with you again very soon.
Me too.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, my loves, that's all we have time for on this episode, but we will see you guys next time. See you later.